though he's been God and he no longer can be here, in honor of his legacy, we're not rioting, God. We're not shaming anybody, God. We're just humbling ourselves before you.
Yes, Lord.
You brought the thunder and rain today, God, because Satan takes the L today. Father, in Jesus' name, you get the victory. Father, we ask for forgiveness from our black brothers and sisters for years and years of racism, of systematic racism.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. I am the wife of Pastor Les Robinson. Quickly, we've seen America rally behind court cases through the years over intellectual property and real property, oftentimes resulting in millions of dollars in restitution. We rally behind it without the blink of an eye because it's something that has been stolen and restitution should be made. We cannot forget or ignore the fact that we stole people from their native land. We stripped them from their families, from their culture, and from their birthright. Yet white America has turned a blind eye to this and say they should get over it, or it's been so long and it doesn't affect the African Americans today because it happened so long ago. On behalf of myself, my family, and my ancestors, I want to publicly apologize to the African American community for our ignorance, our arrogance, our insensitivity to your cause, and for any part we may have had in the atrocities done to your people. I stand here today humbly to show my love and support. Whether enslaved or freed, we know that many African Americans have had inventions they didn't get credit for and therefore earned no revenue. Land was stolen from many, as in my husband's case. My husband has the deeds to these properties that state this land belongs to my descendants forever and ever. There should be no question of what should be done. His land has been stolen, his generational wealth stolen, the schooling opportunities he should have had stolen, his opportunity to grow up in a safe environment where his family could afford housing stolen. He was forced into poverty, running to and from school, hoping to avoid getting into a fight or even getting shot and killed. This wasn't the legacy his grandfather left him. His rightful inheritance was stripped from him. Where is his restitution? There is no record of the properties ever being sold. If this were a claim about a white man's property being stolen, I'm sure the court case would have been resolved by now. He should have the right to reclaim financial compensation for what was left to him by his great-great-great-grandfather, Daniel Blue.
Thank you so much for
so that he may pass it down to his descendants.
I'm going to now lead us in an apology from white Americans to African Americans on behalf of our country, to you and to your ancestors and to all of your people. So to the African Americans in the room who would wish and be willing to participate in this, please stand up. And now I'd like to ask white Americans who are sitting near you to please stand up, and if the African American citizen would be willing to allow a white American who wishes to apologize to you and take part in this to hold your hands. And now, as I speak, I'm going to ask the white Americans in the room to please repeat after me. On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, to you and all African Americans, from the beginning of our nation's history, in honor of your ancestors and on behalf of your children, please hear this from my heart. I apologize. Please forgive us. With this prayer, I acknowledge the depth of the evils that have been perpetrated against Black people in America. From slavery to lynchings to white supremacist laws to the denial of voting rights, to all the ways, both large and small, all of them evil, all of them wrong, for all the oppression and all of the injustices. I apologize.
We see apologies like this, especially when the white community are coming out to apologize to the black community. What is the first thing that actually comes into your mind, right? Because if you check some of these apology, these are not recent apology. These are some of the apologies have been made like years ago. Why some are just recently being made, which is the trending ones. But the question is it just all about apologizing or all about owning up to what you already know and doing the right thing? That is the question, because a lot will still come out and apologize by the end of the day, going back to do their normal nonsense that they usually do. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's Sonia and I'm back again with another mind-blowing video. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are fine. Hope you guys are good. If it's the first time tuning in, do subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other persons to get this good news. Before I will have to say whatsoever I want to say, I'll just go ahead and roll out the other clips I have for you guys. Then I'll come back with commentaries. Credit belongs to the original creators of every stitches and clips we use in our today's episode. And I keep saying it, this is just for educational purpose, right? I stand a chance to be corrected, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. With that being said, let's get right back into the video, and then I'll be back with commentaries.
To all Black women of America, I want to express my heartfelt apology for the role that many white Americans, including white women, played in electing Donald Trump. I recognize the pain and frustration that this has caused in Black communities and the ways this outcome has undermined the rights, the safety, and the dignity of so many, especially Black women. I understand that Black women have long fought for justice and equity, not just for themselves, but for all marginalized communities. And your commitment to truth, resilience, and progress is truly inspiring. As a white person, I'm aware that part of my responsibility is to listen, learn, and actively challenge systems that harm and marginalize. And it's clear that actions speak louder than words. I'm still committed to doing the work necessary to help build a future where all voices are heard and respected. Thank you for your continued strength and leadership. I'm committed to being an ally in creating positive, lasting changes so that we can all live equally in this country. To all of the white women who let everyone else down, check back with me in 4 years. I'm sorry for your daughters. I'm sorry for your sisters that you made a choice to vote a convicted criminal into the presidency. You complain about crime committed by people who came to this country to seek a new life, but you weren't worried about putting a criminal in office again. You must be aware that he's about to use his power to save himself and to save every insurrectionist who was sentenced as a result of the insurrection. You are truly about to see what misuse of power looks like.
I am trying to get real with myself and with other white people, and it is painful work. There's a whole lot of blame toward Black people for being the cause of how white people treat them, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. I decided to take a closer look at slavery, since that's such a big topic in the United States. There has been slavery all over the world forever, and all colors of people have enslaved other colors of people for as long as we know about. But the transatlantic slave trade, in which Europeans brought African and Caribbean Black people to the United States to be free labor in the new colonies before they were really the United States, is a whole different story of slavery. Slavery historically had to do with who won and who lost a war, who was convenient, who stumbled by at the wrong time, and so it wasn't specifically race-based. So why did these white Europeans choose black people to enslave because their physical differences from whites made it easier to create lies that they were biologically inferior. They invented science to defend this. It was easier to make these people who looked so different from us less human. And that lie made it easier to justify torture, rape, family separation, and death on a massive scale. And it made them, quite frankly, easier to identify if they tried to escape. The legacy didn't disappear when slavery ended. Eugenics came along and fed the racial superiority notion of whiteness, and it influenced the Nazi narrative along with the racial one. It carried over into segregation, Jim Crow, housing, policing, incarceration, education, all of that. If we're ever going to fix what's broken, we need to get curious enough to name how it got broken in the first place. White people need to get curious so we can say no more, not on my watch.
When white people in the United States balk at the idea of paying reparations to black Americans who descended from slaves, they disagree with the Bible. Reparations are a form of compensation or restitution made to those who have suffered injustice, particularly those in cases of racial inequality, discrimination, and slavery. The idea of paying reparations to black Americans is not a new one. It has been a topic of discussion for decades, if not centuries. However, it has gained renewed attention and support in recent years, following the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement and the growing recognition of systemic racism in American society. As a Christian, I believe that reparations are not only a matter of justice and equity, but also a reflection of God's character and values. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of God's concern for the oppressed, the marginalized, and the downtrodden. From the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt to the ministry of Jesus among the poor and the outcast, we see a consistent theme of God's love for those who are on the margins of society. One of the key biblical principles that underlie the idea of reparations is the concept of restitution. In the book of Leviticus, we see God commanding the Israelites to make restitution to those whom they have wronged. Leviticus 6:1-5 says, "If anyone sins and commits a breach of faith against the Lord by deceiving his neighbor in a matter of deposit or security or through robbery, or if he has oppressed his neighbor or has found something lost and lied about it, swearing falsely in any of all the things that people do and sin thereby, if he has sinned and has realized his guilt and will restore what he took by robbery when he got it by oppression or deposit that was committed to him or the lost thing that he found or anything about which he has sworn falsely, he shall restore in full and shall add a fifth to it and give it to him to whom it belongs on the day that he realizes his guilt." This passage emphasizes the importance of making restitution to those who have been wronged and not just restoring what was taken, but adding to it as a form of compensation. This principle of restitution can be applied to the issue of reparations to black Americans who have suffered centuries of enslavement, discrimination, and systemic oppression. Another biblical principle that supports the idea of reparations is the concept of Jubilee. In Leviticus 25, God commands the Israelites to observe a Jubilee every 50th year, during which all debts are forgiven, all slaves to be set free, and all property to be returned to its original owners. This was a radical idea of economic justice designed to prevent the accumulation of wealth and power in the hands of a few and to ensure that all members of society had equal access to resources and opportunities. The idea of Jubilee can be seen as a model for reparations in that it seeks to address the root causes of inequality and oppression rather than just treating the symptoms. By forgiving debts, freeing slaves, and returning property, Jubilee seeks to create a more just and equitable society, one in which everyone has the opportunity to flourish. As a Christian, I believe paying reparations to black Americans is only a matter of justice and equity, but also it is a reflection of God's values and character. Through the biblical principles of restitution and Jubilee, we see a model for how we can address the historical and systemic injustices that have plagued our society for far too long. While the issue of reparations is complex and contentious, I believe that as Christians, we have a responsibility to seek justice.
Nobody that has gone through a lot in the whole of this world, as far as I'm concerned, they are the Black Americans. Honestly, we were even opportune that we are still in our African countries where we are legally known and not even having all of those racial profile and so on and so forth. Black Americans have been one of the major people that, in fact, if nobody should even care about them at all, these people deserve good thing, because these people have been through a lot, and till this point, they are still going through a lot. But it is good for us when we see all this kind of encouragement videos, seeing some white people coming out to own it up to their chest and be like, these people do not deserve this, and I am personally apologizing. And that's so beautiful. And that is why you see that we bring out videos like that. And that's why I always said this video is just for educational purposes, right? There are people that we know that this particular thing they actually did to you is wrong, but they don't even care to apologize. They don't even care how you feel about it, and of which that is the worst set of people as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, I'll go out and roll out the remaining clips I have for you guys. Do let me know what your thought is in the comment section. Then I'll be back with commentaries.
I know I don't understand your experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I have never had to live it.
Come on now.
I can sympathize, and I can recognize when things are wrong.
We're sisters and brothers here. Talk.
For instance, if a black man or woman should never be afraid for their life for getting pulled over for speeding.
Come on now.
But I have never lived in that fear.
Come on now. Come on.
No black man or woman should ever be reluctant to walk outside for fear of racial profiling.
Tell it, sister. Tell it.
But I have never been racially profiled.
That's right.
Come on now.
No black man or woman should ever expect to go to jail in their lifetime because of the color of their skin.
Come on now.
But I have never lived in that expectancy. And this is why I don't believe in the phrase, I don't see color.
That's right.
One, to say you don't see color is a lie. We're different. We can all see that. But two, and way more importantly, to deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm going to say that again because I think it's worth repeating. To deny the differences in our skin is to deny the differences in our privilege.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point. To deny the differences in our color is to promote ignorance. Ignorance is the reason that systemic racism and oppression is allowed to exist in this country.
That's good.
So why am I here? Why am I up here speaking?
Come on now.
Tell them, sister.
I'm going to talk on about three things. One of those is change, the other is ignorance, and one is discomfort. I'll get there.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Broadly speaking, why am I here? Because I want change. But let me speak on that for a second. Because I think a lot of people want change. I think a lot of people say they want change, but let me clarify. I think a lot of white people think they want change.
Come on.
But here's the thing about that. In order for there to be a true and genuine change, for you, for the black community, for people of color, there has to be an equal and requited amount of change for white privilege.
That's right.
And that is something that white people don't want to think about. They don't want to admit that. White people don't want to acknowledge the head start we have in life just for being born this color. You know what? That is willful ignorance.
Put it on front line.
Willful ignorance is what allows oppression to continue in this country.
Together we stand. That's it.
So I'm going to talk on ignorance for a second. I think one of the biggest things that allows ignorance to continue is our education system.
There it is, baby.
Ma'am, our education system.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I mean by that is our education is a white man's education.
It is.
It is a white man's history.
Yes, ma'am. Tell it.
Why does that matter? Again, like I said, I can recognize when something is wrong. And that is wrong. Why? Because when you tell that history, the history that excludes black history and black culture and the black experience, you allow white people to think that nothing is wrong. And when that happens, you allow white people to think, well, it was bad back then, but it's not bad now. Hell no.
That's right.
It's bad now. In fact, some might say it's worse because this is systemic oppression.
That's right.
This is institutional oppression. This is oppression that is not overt, but it is just as powerful, and we are able to hide it.
God Almighty.
And I have more to say. If you want to hear all of it, please come out Saturday.
We'll be there.
Thank you. We appreciate it. But just know the reason I'm here is because I stand by you. I support you. I love each and every one of you out here. We are brothers and sisters to the day we die. And this is not my time to have my voice heard, but I will use my voice for you. I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Black people saved me. And it's not some tagline. I was born on the streets of South Korea. I begged for money every day, door to door. I got taken from my biological family, put in a home, adopted or sold to an American family that had really great intentions. Really great intentions. But they were ill prepared, and the system was just messed up. And life didn't really become easier, it became tougher. But black people saved me. Their culture, their music, their resilience. And one day, I hope everyone sees the beauty.
Welcome back, guys, and I hope you guys have seen all of those clips that I actually played for you guys. See, the honest truth is Black Americans deserve to be compensated, not only to be compensated in full, because only few know about this. And anyways, I did some of my research, and I've seen it that a lot of white people are actually owning up to their chest and being like, oh, yes, we are sorry, we know you deserve reparation, and so on and so forth. But the question I keep having every single day is, why is this reparation still taking so long? Please, I do not have an answer to that. That's what I'm asking, so that I can get answers. Why is it taking so long? Why is it looking like they are demanding for a whole universe, or they are demanding for the whole country? I don't know, because in some of my research here, Black Americans deserve reparation because of their long history of systematic oppression, exploitation, and generational harm caused by slavery, segregation, and institutional racism in the United States. Unpaid labors during slavery for over 250 years, enslaved Africans and other descendants built the American economy without paid. Their labor created massive wealth to slave owners, corporations, and the nation. Yet their families were denied the benefit of what they produce. After the Civil War, Freed Blake's family were promised 40 acres and emerged to help them start anew. Those promises were never fulfilled. Instead, many were forced into sharecropping, debt patronage, and exploitation that kept them in poverty. For nearly centuries after slavery, Black Americans were denied access to quality education, housing, healthcare, voting rights, and fair wages. The legal discrimination prevent them from building generational wealth like their white counterparts. Discriminatory leading and racist policy in the 20th century barriers Black families from owning homes in desirable neighborhoods and accessing business loan. This creates a large racial wealth gap that still exists today. Disproportionate policy, sentencing, disparity, and mass incarceration continues to harm Black community. This modern form of systematic oppression traced Black to the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. Reparations are not just money. They are about acknowledgement, healing, and justice. Just as other groups such as Japanese Americans for WWII International of Holocaust Survivor have received reparation, Black Americans deserve the same recognition for centuries of harm. In all, reparations are about repairing stolen wealth, addressing generational disadvantage, and comforting the national moral responsibility. How many knows about this and how many do not? Obviously, every single one knows about this. But if the Chinese can have their own, why is it so difficult for these black people that we know that their own has gone like way, way beyond to just get their own reparation? Anyways, we've seen the black people, we've seen the white people kneeling down begging. We've seen the white people praying, apologizing. We've seen the white people coming out to be like, no, these people do not deserve this. We appreciate all that. But in as much as we're appreciating all that, let it go beyond just doing this. Let it go beyond just apologizing and let us start seeing the reality, because we can't keep seeing clips and clips years after years of, oh, white black Americans were sorry, black Americans were this, black Americans were that, black Americans saved me, black Americans do this and that, and at the end of the day they are still in the same position trying to fight what their forefathers, what centuries and centuries have fight, they are still fighting for it. I do not think that will actually make sense. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. This video is just for educational purpose, not to bash anyone. And for every videos and stitches we use in today's episode, credit belongs to the original creators of this video. Yes, with no further ado, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys, I love you. Mwah.